Well, I've got to say, first of all, congratulations on distribution and being picked up. CNN, Orchard. It's got to be positive to know that people will see this film across the country, across the world. It's something that needs to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we are extremely excited about the Orchard and CNN partnering to pick up the film. As we initially aimed, we wanted it to be on the big screen. We feel like we created this film that is large, it's cinematic, and we wanted people to really feel what was going on, but also be very in touch with the intimacy of it. So I think it's a really good model. And I think having CNN on board for later in the year is going to be really helpful because it's such a polarizing issue when you're talking about trophy hunting and big game and animal conservation and breeding, that I think they're going to be able to program around the film with different issues and bring different people into their studio. That's going to really help push the film out there.
I've got to ask, what was the Sundance experience like, and obviously the amazing reaction for the film in Sundance?
Sundance is such a really great experience. It's a really great jumping off point. I think it was a good experience. We definitely had all of our screens full. There was a lot of people, and I think at first we anticipated whether this film was going to be too much for people to handle or not, and a hit or a miss. And the reality was that I think once people saw the film, it brought up many more questions than answers, and it intrigued people to be talking more, and that's what we wanted. We wanted people to bring up the questions and ask the questions and really be a part of the conversation.
What does it mean to bring it here to Dallas and Texas? Texas obviously plays a role in the film, and what does it mean to bring it to the Lone Star State?
I think it's great to be in Texas. I'm hoping that we can engage. I know Texas, there's a huge hunting community here, and I really hope that we can engage some of the hunters into the conversation. And also one of the characters, Philip, is from West Texas, and he's a breeder. And so I think he's like a lot of people in Texas, a lot of ranchers, a lot of breeders, a lot of hunters. So I'm hoping that will help bring the film here.
What about being able to showcase, this is a world film. I think the South African sequences are really important as well. With CNN's help, how important is it to make this a global issue that people talk about and kind of figure out the best way for people to, be able to do this, but also do it humanely and keep animals alive?
I think it is a global issue. I think especially when it comes to looking at extinction of animals. In our film we profile John Hume, who's the largest rhino breeder in the world. And in South Africa, poaching has skyrocketed the last 5-6 years, where we're down to about 29,000 rhinos, white rhinos. And the reality is that unless we find a solution, they're going to be gone in 10 to 15 years. And so he advocates for trimming the horn and harvesting the horn. It grows back every 2 years, and he stockpiles the horn because it's illegal, but it helps conserve the species from poachers on his farm. And so I think that's something that a lot of people really turn a blind eye to. They don't want this idea of, keeping animals in domestication, captivity. But the reality is that the rate that we're losing a rhino, which I think is a species that we all, humanity, if we can save it, why not? And it may not be the best thing to see a rhino in the wild at this point with no horn, but the reality is that might be the only option for now. So I think issues like that to bring to the light of international communities maybe will help say that there are other solutions. Let's not just keep going in the same direction we've been going, because if we do, it's going to be gone.
I've got to ask, since it is such a polarizing issue, have you ever feared about how strong a reaction would be? And it's scary, some people's threats and the way they approach this. This isn't a subject matter that's just easy for people to get through. And have you ever felt that complete pressure, and how scary has it been for you?
For us, I haven't been real fearful of it. I think that people do have very strong emotions when it comes to this subject, and I think people are very polarized. But you always have to think about that you want to bring people into the conversation, and so if that takes a little bit of frustration and anger, and maybe that's okay, because if you start talking about it, I think we're going to come closer to whatever solution we're trying to reach. We haven't had much harsh reactions, at least not yet. So I think people just they want to talk about it. They want to come in, and I don't think the film evokes a lot of anger. I think people are more questioning things than anything.
Can we look forward to the future and what you think will happen to maybe not just the rhinos, but the way this subject matter is now becoming, more important, and your film hopefully opens a lot of eyes? Do you think this will change, hopefully for the better, what our future will look like?
I mean, I hope so. I'm not exactly sure, but I hope so.